Hey guys, welcome back. Want to talk to you today because of the time of year it is. It's spring, and I have different people ask me, even in some lives, or asking about, what should we be looking for, or what do you recommend foraging in the springtime? I'm gonna go over a couple things. There's many more, and it also kind of goes on your region and area. That's why I constantly encourage people to get local and regional foraging books with good color pictures and details. Again, always, number one, read my disclaimer and be very, very careful. If you don't know what something is or you're even hesitant about it, please leave it alone. Okay, safety first. You don't want to, go out and try to do these, type of skills and learning and benefits, medicinal, whether it's food or things like that, and then you get a hold of something and it's toxic. So some of them are self-explanatory, and I'm also a lot of these I've done individual videos on to give you a lot more detail. I'm going to attach several of them underneath here in the description in case you didn't see them, because I'm going to be brief. I'm just going to give you some ideas, and I'm not going to go into the full depth of like the benefits and how to use them and things. I'm going to be brief in this video. So if there's any you haven't seen or you're interested or question that I list, go and watch those videos. So, and also why I'm encouraging this is, if you've been doing it, you like Miss Sharon, she just recently was like, oh, I think I'm hooked. I love this. And it can be scary and overwhelming when you start. Again, start simple, start small, and things that are very obvious, and just get yourself used to that. And then kind of that fear and uncertainty, it goes away, and you just educate yourself along the way. I want y'all to do these things now instead of when you have to, because I want you to get past that point of the uncertainty and fear, and it feels overwhelming. And I want you to be comfortable doing these things now and try different ways, whether it's they're edible or for medicinal purposes. Try these and get these familiar now. Some of them you can go get now, and you dehydrate them, or you're making tinctures and you have them for a very long shelf life anyways to have on hand. And just make yourself little cards, or make you a 3-ring binder notebook and label everything very thoroughly, and so you'll know how to use these things. So that's what I want to encourage. So one, we always think about, what do we think for the first things we see in spring is dandelions. I love dandelions. The flowers, the leaves, and the roots are all usable for different things. I've put several things about the dandelion salve, which is a big one I always make. You use the little leaf, the little flower tops. You can do that. You can use dandelion tea. Is a fantastic, it's a diuretic, but it also is fantastic for your liver detox and your kidneys. It just kind of flushes things out. It's not as harsh as like doing a liver detox if you're using like milk thistle, which I encourage, to have that on hand. Also, I'm not saying don't use it, but this is, something to incorporate in part of your lifestyle, not an everyday type thing, but it's good to have on hand. There's different things you can do with tinctures and salves and infused oil. So that's a great one to start with. If you've never done any kind of foraging, you've never made a salve, you've never made any tinctures or drying, like how you do the roots, you dry them, you can make dandelion root tea. This is a fantastic one to start with. Fantastic, really easy. Another one is chickweed. Is again identifying. I'm not going to go in great detail. This one is your responsibility on these, and of course you have certain questions, email me if you have detailed things. Chickweed it's one of those early spring things because it doesn't like it when it's really hot. You have tiny little white flowers, kind of a ground covering, but they're chickweed, you think of like a cooling skin type use for those. If you do it like a salve, or you make a poultice or different things for topical, rashes, bites. Chickweed is also a big one that you can make a salve, and it's really good for like a diaper rash because it's very cooling and different things like that. So chickweed. Wild violets, most of us know what those look like. The flowers and the leaves are edible of those. Those are things you can start looking for in this early springtime. Clovers, I cannot say enough good about clover. One of my very first ones I've talked about, and that's red and white clover. There's so many they're edible, but there's so many different medicinal uses and benefits to those as well. You can do infused honeys, you can do teas, because they're very high in vitamins and minerals. Different uses. I'll attach videos. Fiddlehead ferns. It's one of my kiddos' favorites. She loves to go foraging and looking for these, and she just knows immediately, and she constantly looks for them. They are going to be, there's a short window for fiddlehead ferns, okay? And so you want to go earlier on before it gets super hot. But when you are foraging for something like this, 100%, because there are certain ferns that are toxic. Again, if you do not know, please leave it alone. And so fiddlehead ferns, they're edible. You can, when you collect those and you get them, you can saute those up, like with butter, throw some garlic or something in there, and they kind of taste like an asparagus. So again, if you're in a situation where you're trying to forage for food and stuff, fiddlehead head ferns, good to have. Stinging nettles, one of my favorites. Be careful when you're, collecting this, because they will. I am very sensitive to stinging nettles, the little hairs, the kind of sting that they give you. When you either cook those down, you dehydrate those, however you do, that stinging stuff goes away. But I cannot stress enough the medical benefits of stinging nettles. And this is a number one go-to if you have allergy issues of any sort. Stinging nettles is going to be your go-to. Collect it if you can collect it, and you 100% identifying it. Dehydrate, dry those, and have those on hand, because when people have seasonal allergies and they can't get a hold of over-the-counter stuff, if that's what you're used to taking, and stinging nettles, which is what's in the DHIST, I talk about that all the time. That's all my my family uses for any kind of allergy, seasonal allergies, with no side effects. Okay. Again, below that one is dead nettles, or some people call them purple nettles or purple dead nettles. They're really easy to identify. They do not have that stinging effect, but those are out now as well. Great benefits. Again, I have videos to most of these. Henbit is one that usually grows very close to purple nettle, and sometimes people get them confused, but as soon as you, and in my video I show the difference. As soon as you know the difference, you'll never mistake it again. But henbit's a really good one. Plantain, again, there's two different types. I love it for any type of skin. There's the broadleaf, and then there's the narrow leaf, which is the ribwort. I've done videos on both of those. You'll usually see them in your yard and don't think anything of them. The broadleaf kind of grows more near wetter areas. If you have like a water, a creek, lakes, you'll see them more near those. And then the narrow leaf seems to be more in the drier upper places. But again, those are big topical. Do a salve, do a poultice if you have to. Anything that goes on you. You get a sting, you get a rash. They're kind of nature's band-aid. I've talked about that before. Those are really good to have on. And again, dry them so you have them on hand. I do that all the time. I've made videos on doing it, and I still have bags, of that I keep. And I want to, again, those are just a couple, but it's just, I want to give that encouragement, that little boost, because here we are in the spring, and I want people to get out and do the things, okay? Simple things like this early on, to start getting yourself used to it. Or you may just, so you have, kind of that stock of those things. Once you dry things or make tinctures or salves, they have a long shelf life. You don't have them on hand. So and I always say it, don't wait until you're forced into a situation and you're trying to figure it out. Okay? So, get you in the habit. Anything about that. You get past the initial going to do it, instead of just researching it or hearing somebody talk about it and, reading it and different things. Go do the things. It's something I want to encourage you to get out and do. So everyone, stay well, God bless, and I will see you next time.